3 of Iran's most senior leaders gone in under 24 hours. That is not a typo. That is the confirmed reality unfolding right now across the Middle East. And after weeks of tracking this conflict, I can tell you what's happening now represents something fundamentally different from everything that came before. Let me walk you through exactly who was killed and why it matters. First, Ali Larijani, Iran's Supreme National Security Council secretary and the regime's effective leader. He was the architect behind the mass crackdown on Iranian protesters, directly linked to the deaths of roughly 40,000 unarmed civilians back in January. He also maintained close ties to Moscow, making him a bridge between Tehran's military and political operations. His elimination sent shockwaves through what remains of Iran's command structure. Second was Gholam Reza Soleimani, commander of the Basij paramilitary force, the regime's primary tool for crushing internal dissent. His entire job was coordinating crackdowns against protesters. And then this morning, the third confirmation came through. Esmail Khatib, Iran's intelligence minister, killed in an overnight strike. The United States Treasury had sanctioned Khatib back in 2022 for directing networks of cyber threat actors engaged in espionage and ransomware attacks against America and its allies. Now here is what I find most significant about this pattern. The first phase of this war targeted military infrastructure and missile sites. That was the American focus. But these 3 killings reveal a deliberate Israeli shift toward dismantling the internal repression apparatus, the people who keep ordinary Iranians from rising up. Think about that for a moment. They are not just degrading Iran's ability to fight outward. They are systematically removing the enforcers who prevent revolution from within. And from what I've gathered, speaking to analysts who maintain contacts inside Iran, the gap between the regime and its own people has never been wider. The average Iranian sees these rulers as foreign occupiers of their own country. Those massive funeral processions you see on state media? Analysts confirm most attendees are Bast-in Basij militia members, not ordinary citizens. The regime knows it lacks genuine popular support. Meanwhile, Iran's remaining leadership faces an impossible question. Who is actually in charge? The supreme leader's son is reportedly alive, but his capacity to govern remains unclear. Iran has 90 million people. Estimates suggest only 10 to 30% support the regime. But the Islamic Republic was built with redundancy in mind. Parallel institutions, overlapping command structures, tens of thousands of armed personnel who know their tasks regardless of who sits at the top. Yet even that resilience has limits. Israel and the United States have also struck the buildings responsible for internet censorship, degrading the regime's digital repression alongside the physical kind. Information is now flowing out of Iran in ways it did not during the January crackdown. Whether through Starlink devices, VPNs, or simply degraded censorship infrastructure, Iranians on the ground are corroborating strikes reported by CENTCOM and the IDF. Israel's defense minister said today, and I quote, "Significant surprises are expected throughout this day on all fronts." Iran, for its part, is still fighting back. Overnight missile strikes hit residential areas near Tel Aviv. The weapon of choice lately has been cluster munitions, warheads that open midair, and rain dozens of bomblets past air defenses into neighborhoods. A couple in their 70s was killed. Several others were injured. For civilians in Tel Aviv, sleep has become a privilege, but Iran has also expanded its retaliation beyond Israel. After an Israeli strike on the South Pars gas field, the world's largest gas resource and a pillar of Iran's energy supply, Tehran fired missiles at Qatar's main gas facility, a move Qatar condemned as a direct threat to global energy security. Saudi Arabia reported intercepting 5 drones headed toward its energy facilities and 4 ballistic missiles launched toward Riyadh. President Trump responded on Truth Social, stating the United States knew nothing about the Israeli strike on South Pars, but his warning to Tehran was unmistakable. If Qatar's liquefied natural gas is attacked again, the United States will, quote, massively blow up the entirety of South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. The energy implications alone are staggering. Global oil and gas markets are already reacting to the threat of prolonged disruption in one of the world's most critical shipping corridors. Vessels are being rerouted. Insurance rates are climbing. And every hour this conflict continues, the economic ripple effects spread further. As for diplomacy, from everything I have been able to piece together, meaningful negotiations are nowhere close. Iran's foreign minister technically leads diplomatic efforts, but has no authority to speak for the regime without instructions from above. And right now, there may be no one above to give those instructions. Even in peacetime, Tehran never negotiated in good faith. Under maximum pressure, maximum appeasement, it made no difference. To the Islamic Republic, concession equals weakness. And the more fragile they become, the less likely they are to show any sign of compromise. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, the Department of Defense is expected to hold a press conference updating the public on Operation Epic Fury, with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman General Dan Kane addressing reporters. What I am watching for in the next 12 to 24 hours is not more strikes. It is signs of defection. Reports are emerging that the Mossad has been directly threatening mid-level Iranian commanders, telling them to join the movement or face elimination along with their units. If that starts working, if cracks appear in the rank and file, then everything changes. Because ultimately, the Iranian people themselves are the force this regime fears most. And right now, the enforcers standing between them and that regime are being removed, one by one, faster than anyone predicted.